ponies at law? I've heard of sharks. I've heard of all kinds of other metaphors. Why ponies?
That's a really interesting question. My brother and I we like to do funny voices, and it just so happens that one of our voices was what a pony would sound like if he were a person talking. And we came to fall in love with the idea that somebody could answer a phone, pony and pony, ponies at law, pony speaking. Just because it sounded totally ridiculous. It was hysterical. We laughed until we couldn't breathe. And then you just keep repeating it enough in your head. And I started drawing, because I do graphic arts as well. And that's how it happened. I decided to make a law firm, a pretend law firm, Pony and Pony, Ponies at Law.
Well, now, you're a really fine graduate of Seton Hall Law School. What was the reaction of faculty and family to Ponies at Law?
Well, it's kind of interesting. The law school at first didn't really understand where I was going with this, but Seton Hall Law has been very generous in lending us their professors, their facilities, and their support for this program. And I've just been really lucky. My family, my father is an attorney, and actually he helped me in a lot of ways, because when I was a child, people would ask me, what did my father do? And I'd say, oh, he's an attorney. And people thought of, just as you had asked earlier, attorneys as being sharks, snakes, this kind of thing. And I thought to myself, well, that's not true. I thought that my father was doing good work. He was helping people. And part of Pony and Pony, Ponies at Law, and Pony Radio is to get rid of some of these misconceptions that people have about lawyers. Although there may be some crummy lawyers out there, there's certainly a large number of lawyers who are there to help you to figure out your rights and to do the best job that they can for you. So
what's the mission of Ponies at Law?
I'd have to say the mission of Ponies at Law is real legal education through puppet ponies. And basically what we're trying to do is provide the average Joe or Josephine with the basics of legal education online.
Do you find it hard? I mean, even the average person reading a legal document sees all kinds of words like habeas this or due process or a whole number of terms that are not spoken in daily language. Has it been hard to translate those into Ponies at Law?
Well, actually, our very first film that we did was about res ipsa loquitur, a very long, complicated Latin word, and all it means is the thing speaks for itself. It's the idea that if something happens to you that's so far-fetched, that it couldn't have happened but for somebody else doing wrong, somebody else doing negligence. And so we tried to explain it to people in a way that they could get. In fact, Tristan, one of our puppet pony attorneys, can't even really pronounce it. He calls it the rest of the licorice instead of res ipsa loquitur. And if we get past all the Latin and we get past all of the complicated terms, at the end it all boils down to simple ideas, like the thing speaks for itself. And that's what we're basically here to help with. We're not here to replace attorneys, we're not here to provide legal advice. We're just here to sort out some basic things, like what's the beginnings of writing a will? What's a patent? What is a copyright? How do these things work? Just on a very simple, bare bones level, and then it's open for you to discuss, maybe with somebody else, the finer details of these elements.
You have faculty members as guests and leaders in the law field. What have been their reactions to being a guest on the show?
Well, they look at me funny. I walk into their office, I shake their hand, hello professor, I'm doing a YouTube show about puppet pony attorneys, and they look at me, oh, Cara, but thankfully they're congenial enough, and again, they're passionate about teaching law, and so I'm very lucky that despite the fact that I'm teaching law with puppet ponies, they're willing to sit down, and it's very difficult to maintain a straight face while your compatriot to the right is clearly a puppet. But they've done their best to try to answer their questions with puppet ponies. So.
Have you gotten any reaction from the audience or from the people who've seen your film who are not necessarily legal people?
Well, yes, people think it's pretty funny. The episodes are short enough that people tend to watch them, so I feel very good about that. And some people find them to be quite informative. That's good. It makes me feel good that I can help people, and certainly, if anything, I think people tend to like puppet ponies, and that's really where we're boiled down to.
Now, one of your shows turned out to have a lot of hits. What's the most popular puppet show that you've done?
Our most popular show, by far and away, is What is a Patent? And currently, if you search for it, that's the one that comes up the most frequently. And it's a very simple episode. It's starring, well, Tristan and Pascal are two puppet ponies together with an adjunct professor at Seton Hall Law, Professor John O'Shea, who teaches trademark law at Seton Hall Law and is quite accomplished himself as a lawyer. And he sits down with us and basically fleshes out what is a patent, and he has several more episodes, and more episodes even coming up, including speaking about copyrights. Tristan will show him a picture that he drew himself, so one of the puppet ponies draws a picture and asks this attorney whether or not it can be copyrighted, and it's whether or not you can make that parody of Star Wars. So we're going to answer some of these interesting questions with him on other episodes, and then we have, of course, more episodes online with other professors, including domestic violence episodes, how to speak like an attorney, so how to do public speaking better, evidence, pleading the fifth is already on there. We try to cover a broad variety of topics.
This could be very helpful in the broader world. The fact that you're on YouTube is very important, because many nations are working on developing their legal systems, developing the rights for citizens. It's not necessarily something that's known by everyone. So do you think you've got any international appeal yet? Have you gotten any evidence of that, or do you think that's a possibility?
I think international appeal could be a possibility, especially because the system of law we use in America is the British system, and largely based on the British system. So you have countries such as India, Canada, Great Britain, and Australia, who all are based off of this common law system. So, and the common law system is based on precedents, so the cases that come before influence the outcomes of cases that follow. So in those jurisdictions, our law may be partially applicable. Also, with regards to international law, I had been speaking with somebody, and she agrees that there may be some opportunities for us there. If the subject arises, we'd love to cover it. There is no subject that Pony Radio won't touch. So hopefully in the future, maybe we'll do more on international work if the need arises.